Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gabbing with Gabby. And today I have my friend Sheena Graham. Hi, Sheena. Thanks for joining me today.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being on here. I know Sheena from guess where? A gym. And a funny little side story about me and Sheena is that I interviewed Sheena's sister a while ago. She actually came in and organized my garage, and you can click on that link right above my head there, and you can see her interview. And Sheena commented on one of my posts when I was saying, "Hey, go watch this interview." She's like, "Hey, that girl looks familiar." He he he. And I was like, "Yeah, she. You guys kind of look alike." And she's like, "That's my little sister." Little sister, right? She's
Yep,
younger than you.
yep.
Yeah, and I was like, "What a small world." All this time, I've been talking with Sheena in the gym, and then I hired her sister to come and help me with my garage, which she totally helped transform my garage and changed everything in my life in the garage, which is where I do all my fitness classes. So it just is a small world, and I just found that to be super cool that we had that little thing in common, where I had interviewed your sister, but at the same time, I'm sitting there chit chatting with you, so it was pretty cool. So Sheena and I have had several conversations in the gym. She is a self love advocate. And we've talked a lot about self love and taking care of ourselves and just creating your life the way that you feel harmonious with. And she agreed to come on here today and talk a little bit about that. And I think she's got a lot of really great things to share and to say. So, Sheena, please tell us how you kind of were, found yourself on this self love journey that you're on.
Well,
Where do I
um,
start?
I know, right? I'm like, did I start like 15 years ago, or do I start in
Mm,
the last, 5, 6 years? Well, I always wanted to help people. I guess my first like feeling was, just from stuff that I grew up with a long time ago. And,
mhm,
you know, uh, I used to watch my mom in like these relationships that, you know, weren't really good for her. And
mhm.
it used to pain me. So I'm like, man, like I would feel like if we all had like this inner strength, if we all, really loved ourselves and, felt really confident, we wouldn't go through these things and we wouldn't deal with these things.
Mhm.
But I had to actually have my own journey of going through that. So even though like I grew up and I seen all these things that I didn't want for my life, I somehow ended up living, this way. And had to like really be broken down before I decided like, okay, I need to do something about this, because nobody's gonna come around and make me happy. And even if they do, it's only gonna last for while they're there, you know? And so, I went through life, like I got married, got divorced, and after, like that divorce, I went through a long period of just very low self-esteem. And I didn't feel happy about like what I was doing in life. I didn't like the way I looked. Didn't like I felt like I didn't accomplish, anything. And I was just all around like just feeling down.
Mhm.
So I decided to start doing personal development, which is funny because it was like my divorce kind of like pushed me that way. Um,
Mhm.
I literally was like, how do you, like, I Googled, how do you start your life over after 30? Like, I literally Googled those words, and that kind of
Wow.
threw me into personal development. And, so I just started like working on these little things like, okay, I want to work on my patience, how can I, have better patience? And slowly but surely, like, these things, they were helping me a lot. They were helping me a lot to like, you know, uh, get out of my own head, stop complaining, about my problems. I was noticing that complaining was actually bringing me more problems rather than fixing my problems. Like my venting wasn't really productive because I was just, venting. So, personal development helped me a lot, but I just didn't feel like, this confidence that I used to feel. And I was thinking to myself, like, gosh, when's the last time I used to feel this way? And, it was when I was, 22 and, I had this hot, super hot bod. And I used to just look at myself in the mirror all the time, like, damn, you sexy, So
Oh,
like,
nice.
and I used to dance too. So like to me in my mind, I was like, let me start doing that again. Let me start like honoring myself again, because back then I used to call myself vain, but I realized like I'm supposed to love myself. I'm supposed to like myself, like no matter what anybody else thinks that I look like, I should love my face. I should love my body. I should
Mhm.
love, just my overall being and my essence of who I am. So, I just started doing the things that I love to do. And I started doing things that I felt would be better for my body. So that included, working out, eating healthier, adoring myself, like putting on some lingerie and getting in front of the mirror, putting on a little bit of makeup, and just, having like a fun little sexy, party with myself,
Mhm.
Of course, that included like writing affirmations, but it was just so weird because, like, I started on this journey of basically just working out. And then I realized like it just started leading me to other things that I realized I wanted to incorporate in my life. As I was doing all of these things, I started remembering those old ideas, back from when I was like 19, 20, of wanting
Yeah.
to help people, And so I decided to do like, I wanted to make myself accountable. So I would do like self love challenges. I would challenge myself to like write in a journal or dance for a week or just do something that I enjoyed. And and then I realized like, oh, I had this dream a long time ago that I wanted to help people love themselves, like
Yeah, right.
I felt like I had went like through this long like 10-year journey to like bring me back to like my original purpose, my original plan, like what I felt I was born here to do, So
Yeah.
it feels like I wish I could say like, oh, this one thing sparked it. If I would say the one thing sparked it, it would be, watching my mom deal with so much crap,
Mhm.
and basically me just not wanting to deal with that crap. But,
Right.
I had to understand what it was like to go through that, if I really, really wanted to be there for people. So I'm
Right.
glad. I'm glad that all of that stuff happened. It's later in life than what I expected it to be, but
Well, you had to go through that. You had to because you wouldn't be able to empathize with other people because you wouldn't know how it would feel, and you had to go through your own journey of finding out who you are and truly being able to love yourself. Because when I hear you say getting to some sexy clothes and dance in front of the mirror, I'm like, oh hell no. I'm so uncomfortable. I mean, I feel like as I get older, um, but it gets worse. Like if I could wear long sleeve shirts and a turtleneck and long pants always, I would be happy. It's very difficult for me to be comfortable in my own skin. And you have great Instagram posts where you're either just talking to people or you're loving the food that you're making or you're dancing and you look amazing and you've to me every time I've seen you either in person or on Instagram, you kind of walk around with confidence like I don't care what other people think about me. I'm happy and this is who I am and this is what you get and I really admire that about you, and I think it's very difficult for people, and I'm just talking from my own experience, to embrace that. right? Like, because I'm like, I can't do that.
You know what? I mean, it is still difficult for me at sometimes to do
Hmm.
that, and it really took a matter of me like forcing myself to sit down in the mirror and look at myself. Cause when I
Hmm.
was 22, I mean, my body, if I was gonna rate my body from 1 to 10, I would have put that on a scale to like 12 or 13.
Nice.
I, I mean, breast perky,
Yes.
waist slim. I was getting a little booty.
Yes.
I, I loved my body. But then, like as I started to get older, and the breasts start to loosen up, drop a little bit, and then I had my son. Oh my gosh,
Mm, things change.
everything changes. And like I had to get used to like the new way that my breast looked. Like
Hmm.
I was like, okay, they're not like these perky rockets about to shoot off my chest anymore.
Right.
They're relaxed. They're laying down. And
Yes.
I had to get used to that. Like they still look nice, but it just wasn't the nice that I wanted,
Right.
where you wear those certain, low V's and the boobs is just
Hmm.
popping without any bra,
Hmm.
so I had to get used to that. I had to get used to, at first I had gained a weight from my pregnancy, and
Hmm.
I wasn't used to having rolls. I had some
Right.
rolls. Um, but there was also things like I had in my mind like, okay, I have to have this big butt to be sexy, and it wasn't that
Hmm.
I have to have this big butt, but I like butts, like
Hmm.
I just the having one is so nice, it's fun, but even then, like there would be like all this work to keep it up, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
okay, I have to also learn to love my small butt,
Yeah.
like I can't be like killing myself in the gym for 2 hours just to have a booty, and
Hmm.
I mean, I don't mind like working. I like to work out, but I don't want that to be like my goal. It's just to like my shape, my goal. I want
Hmm.
my goal to be like, okay, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I can do a squat, I could do a pull up, I could lift some boxes,
Hmm.
50 pounds, like with no problem,
Right.
So but even now, like I have my moments where I don't feel beautiful or pretty, and sometimes I do stay away from the mirror. But it was definitely a challenge in the beginning, because it wasn't that I didn't want to wear these things, it was that I didn't think I looked good in these things,
Yeah.
you know
Hmm.
so I didn't want to look at myself and feel like, oh, you don't look good because of this beauty standard that was set by society that
Hmm.
is not even real in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
All this Photoshop and everything out there, it's like it's not even real, and
Right.
I'm trying to live
Hmm.
up to something that came from a computer program.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I just would force myself to sit in the mirror, and it would feel uncomfortable sometimes, but you know I might not be adoring myself every time, but I would be like, okay, let me hug myself, like you
Hmm.
need love, so I would hug, and I would surprisingly, it would feel so good. Like even right now I'm
Mm.
just like
Right.
like
Right. Like, I
surprisingly it
love
feels so
myself.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I'd be like, you know what, like I might look at a part of my body that I don't really like, and like pour love into it, massage it, get some oil out, get some lotion on, put some music on. And I'm not necessarily always trying to look beautiful or sexy, but I'm just trying to feel loved, and I wasn't dating anybody at the time, and I was afraid to date at the time because I was
Hmm.
like, I don't want to deal with all the crap that comes from dating somebody who's not real with you, which is
Hmm.
what I kept running into, and so I was just like, what am I sitting around waiting for somebody to do this for me? Like
Hmm.
I need to do this for myself, like what would I do if I was my friend? If I just
Hmm.
took myself and set it next to me, if that's possible,
Right.
if that was
Right.
possible, What would I do for my friend? I would love them. I would hug them. I would tell them like, hey, I
Yeah.
am here for you. I got your back no matter what. I know it's hard, but we're going to get through this. And so just like doing that more and more and more really helped me to break through, because a lot of
Mhm.
this, not wanting to be like in lingerie can come from either, not feeling good about your body.
Mhm.
And the majority of it comes from the shame that we get as women for
Mhm.
even wanting to dress in that manner.
Mhm.
Like when I had my son, it was like, oh, you're supposed to wear mom clothes now. Like you're not supposed to
Mhm.
be sexy. And you're like, wait, like who makes up these rules? Like this is how I brought life. And you're gonna tell me that I'm supposed to just give all of this up
Just shut it down,
just shut
right.
it down because I birthed? No.
Yes. You wanna hang
No.
on to that part of you, that part that made you feel good about yourself. Yeah.
Exactly, and it changes. And I might have to relearn to love certain parts of myself as my
Mhm.
body changes again as I get older.
Mhm.
It's really like a never ending process, because
Mhm.
things change, stuff in life happens, our self-esteem gets high, it gets low, and
Mhm.
so um it's so much crap that you have to break through, but it's possible. It's possible if you at least start by yourself. Not to say that this is something that you want to do. I don't know what
Right.
you want to do. I
Well,
don't know
it's
why.
different things work for different people, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
you have to start somewhere and do something if you're looking for a change. I mean, we talked about well, you mentioned real quick about the working out, and it's like, well, I don't want to work out for 3 hours a day just so I can have a booty, right? And it's at some point you have to make peace with yourself. And I've said this before to many clients and to the participants in my class, like you if you're not a figure competitionist or a bodybuilder, there really is no need for you to be working out like that, right? We're just everyday people. And in the gym culture, as far as group X class, it's more of a community and a social thing. So it's like, instead of beating yourself up, you need to decide, am I going to be willing to work that hard to have the perfect body? Or am I going to make peace with the way that my body is and focus on being strong and healthy and lift a 50-pound box, right? And be able to do functional things in my, just functionally live with my body. So you have to make peace with that. And different things work for different people, just like not all diets are created the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to you have to do what works best for you. And if sitting in front of the mirror makes you uncomfortable, it's probably something you should try. Just myself, right?
Yes, help
Because
break
it's
down
this.
those freaking barriers and those things
Yeah,
in your head that tell you like, I'm not good enough to do
I'm
this, or
not
I'm
good
not
enough.
worthy enough to do this. And you're like, no,
Mhm.
you are absolutely worthy enough. You are beautiful. You have a great personality, and sometimes you just need to like remind yourself of that, because our
Mhm.
vision, like what we see with our eyes is like it's it has a very deep connection with what's going on within our minds and our heart, like if our spirit,
Mhm.
if our life condition is at like this funky low area, then we won't be able to see that. So that's why
Mhm.
I like to focus on self-love and creating your own happiness, because then I can actually see myself, like
Mhm.
when I first moved back to San Diego, when I was getting separated from my ex-husband, I would look in the mirror and I felt so ugly. I felt
Hmm.
so unattractive. Like I felt like I had needed, I would have to have makeup. Like if I would at least put on eyebrows and mascara, which I got on
Mhm.
today because I'm feeling like a
Mhm.
little bit extra. But
Yeah.
I I would feel like if I didn't have those on, like I wasn't worthy of being looked at. I didn't feel beautiful at all. And then I went
Oh.
through like these years of like really bad acne where my whole face was just scarred, hyperpigmentation, you know, a
Mhm.
lot of cystic acne. So then I was like, oh, okay, this is
Right, it
so
made you feel worse,
it made me
right?
feel worse, you know, but then I would look back at pictures that I took when I first moved back here and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so beautiful here, you know?
Right,
And I was like,
always happens
gosh,
like that.
yeah. And I was thinking, like, gosh, I was feeling so, like low that I looked in the mirror and I couldn't see, you know?
Mhm.
And I, my life's not always like, say, like in like a super low condition to where like if I'm looking beautiful, like but some like I can't how do I word this? Like your life doesn't have to be like a condition doesn't have to be super low. Like you can have
Right.
like a decent like life condition, like a higher life condition and still kind of feel these things about
Mhm. Absolutely, yes.
you know? Um, but luckily there's plenty of people out there with like classes and courses and people who open
Mhm.
space for people who are like wanting to get rid of those thoughts and those feelings. You know, their belief
Mhm.
systems that we grew up with that are implanted in our brains, and
Mhm.
we need to change those things around, and
Mhm. You
I
need
don't
to
know.
re-record that tape that's in your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just
So let's talk about real quick, you talked about your skin because we talked about this in the gym as well. And you did a major change to help with your skin. And there was a diet change. And you actually got a lot more benefits out of it, not just your skin, right? You find a lot of joy in your diet change. So let's talk about a little bit about that, some of the things that you did to help with your acne.
Well, I was trying so hard to do this like this natural way.
Mhm.
And I was just so like n- not I did not want to put anything into my body that I didn't feel needed to be there. And to
Mhm.
me, like acne was like, okay, there's this issue, but I don't know what it is. So, anyways,
Mhm.
I was basically just like sharing it with some people about my struggles with it. And someone comes up to me and was like, hey, have you ever tried getting rid of dairy? And I'm like, well, kind of, like I had kind of tried like a little bit,
Mhm.
like I wouldn't eat, drink, I wouldn't eat cheese, I wouldn't drink milk, but some of like the box products that I bought would
Mhm.
have dairy in it, like stuff you don't even
Mhm.
expect to have dairy in it.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't like fully doing it. And I didn't realize how little you needed to be detrimental to your body. And it was
Mhm.
just like my body was not handling dairy anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this again, but this time I'm gonna do it foolproof. I'm not gonna eat anything, and I'm gonna read all the ingredients and any
Yes.
box food
Right.
or whatever.
100%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I tried it for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I could just see like all the inflammation that you know
Wow.
it hurts, like, literally, like, when you see people with these bumps all around their face, like, it hurts. It is constant pain. It is a pain to
Mhm.
smile. It is a pain to open your mouth.
Oh,
Like, you are constantly feeling pain in your face. It sucks, you
is
know?
it hot? Like, because it's inflamed, does it feel like it's hot or dry, or what's that pain feeling? I was just
It's
trying to get a
so
sense of.
if you ever had like a pimple where like it's
Mhm.
so big that it's if you touch
Oh,
it,
yes,
it's
yes.
gonna hurt.
Mhm.
So it's like that all over. So it's
Ooh.
like because it's inflamed, every time you're moving your face or you're like,
Oh.
I would do like this, like just
Oh.
doing that would just irritate it. It would hurt,
Oh.
you know? So I'm like, after 2 weeks, I'm noticing this inflammation going down. I'm like, oh, okay. And
Wow.
I got weak and had a piece of chocolate, literally like a small piece of chocolate. I didn't know that there was chocolate that didn't have dairy in it. I
Right,
thought that's
right.
what you needed.
Yeah, right.
And literally in like the next few hours, all that inflammation that had went away over the past few weeks all came back. It was
And that tiny piece of chocolate.
and that one small piece of chocolate, I like it all came back. So I was just like, nope, I don't need this. I don't need ice cream. I don't need cookies, which
Right.
I found now that you can have
You can get vegan
deliciousness
cookies.
without it.
Oh, yes, you can. I can tell you which vegan cookies to get that are amazing. I know.
We're gonna have to talk
I'm
about
a
this
cookie
later.
connoisseur.
Okay. you know, and so I was just doing the dairy for a while,
Yeah.
and like maybe 6 months later I became vegan, not for my face, just for planet, ethical reasons and
Mhm.
health. And uh then as I was working out, I started eating strictly plant-based, which meant like I wasn't eating any like boxed food. I was eating like
Mhm.
whole food plant-based, like just rice, vegetables. I was on this special diet, and because it came with like the workout plan that I was doing for a big booty and legs.
Okay.
It was intense too. Let's not
Yeah.
get into that today. But
Okay.
so I was doing this, and I still had acne. I was getting kind of frustrated because I was like, okay, like even though like I didn't have so much inflammation, like, and everything looked good on the outside, like I still had like basically acne just waiting to be inflamed. So if I had anything
Oh,
with sugar,
okay.
like a piece of cake, or I just couldn't enjoy those things because I knew that as soon as I had it, it would get inflamed. So I'm taking this plant-based nutrition course, and in it I have to do herbs. And I wasn't even interested in the herbs. I just wanted to know about plant-based diet.
Mhm.
And the herb shop led me to this one herb called red clover, which is for cleansing the blood. They call it
Mhm.
a cleaner. And I started drinking that, and that is actually what helped me to get rid of the majority of my acne.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
it worked so good that I got okay with living with a little bit of acne. I was like, oh, I can live with this acne.
Right.
you know I didn't try to do like a regimen to clear it all the way, which is what I've been
Right.
working on the last few months, which is why I got this
Yeah.
tinted sunscreen on now. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like ever, like I started doing that. So even though like maybe my acne wasn't clearing the way I wanted to, like I just found like different things. Like I didn't need coffee anymore. Like I would
Mhm.
always need coffee early in
I'm
the
just kidding.
morning. I know, right? It's so
I'm just kidding.
taboo.
I love coffee.
But like coffee was already making me like super like jittery and wired. I feel wired. And
Mhm.
uh but I would drink it in the morning because I needed that pick me up. But like
Mhm.
I switched to, smoothies with berries and mangoes and
Mhm.
bananas, and
Mhm.
I'm like feeling energized. I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
feel good. Like, okay, well, shoot, what am I drinking this coffee for? I felt happier. My mind felt like more clear, like
Mhm.
when I would get upset with things, my emotions didn't fly off the handle like they used to. I was able to kind of like
Mhm.
pause and think about things, So I'm like, I wouldn't want to go back. Like, I don't even want to go back. I,
Mhm.
I have no desire to go back to eating any animal products, any
Mhm.
food, because like I just feel like my body runs so much better. I feel so much
Mhm.
happier. It doesn't mean that I don't get happy, because, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people have been experiencing anxiety and depression. So like, yeah, I deal with feelings of sadness and anger and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, but it doesn't feel like overwhelming, or it doesn't feel
Mhm.
like it's taking the control that it used to. Like
Right.
I still
Mhm.
I still have moments, girl.
I know. Well, food is it's comfort, right? Food equals comfort, and sugar is very addictive, you know? It's very addictive. So, when you're feeling sad, I'm just saying you in general, feeling sad, sometimes you're like, that's it. I'm going to go have my giant sundae to make me feel better. I mean, those things are associated, or you associate it with a good time, like some people like to drink, some people like to eat, all that stuff is tied into your emotions, so it's definitely something that's wired in us. That's why it's hard for people to change their diet, right? Because it's like you can't fathom letting that go. And you said real quick, like, I still have my moments, and my acne didn't clear all the way. It's like, this is good enough. But it's baby steps. You have to take small steps towards the goal you want to get to, especially when it comes to changing your diet, because there's no way anybody can do it all cold turkey all the way 100% through without failing a couple of times along the way. I mean, it's just very difficult. So you're just taking your baby steps and taking the time that you need to achieve the goal that you want. I mean, so I can't really see anything on your face, right? And whether it's the screen or whatever, but to me, you're glowing, and you're always glowing, from the inside out. It's helped you emotionally, physically. Like, you definitely can see that there's a change going on, in you. So it's whatever it's doing, it's working. You keep going. You keep going on your, yeah. So during COVID, we're all stuck at home, some people are working, some people are not, but you started developing some self-love bath salts. Wait, was it during COVID? Yes, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah, just wanted to make sure I was not misquoting. So let's talk about your self-love bath salts, because I love this idea. It sounds really great.
So I was looking up like all these different ways to like help me with my self love, and I came across like taking a spiritual bath, and I'm like, let me, what's that, And you like do it
Yeah.
on a full moon, and you set the intention, and I was also doing like this other journal that was talking about setting intention. And so I was just like, let me like combine these things, and kind of come up with my own little thing.
Hmm.
So, I went and bought me some flowers, and I bought me some bath salts, and like I was already going to the herb
Oh,
store to like get herbs for my acne, and then I was there and I was just like, oh, let me get some of these rose petals, And
oh, I love it.
yeah, I just I had such an amazing experience. I basically just used the essential oils that I had collected on my own. I just made like my own mixture, and I was just like, damn, this smells really good, like like smelling myself. And
Yeah.
um when I get in the bath, I'm just in there. I turn on my music. I was in there for like an hour. I was like,
Oh,
I had
how
put some
nice.
coconut milk in there. It was all slippery and sliding around, and so I was massaging myself and I was hugging myself, and I
Oh.
had just sent this intention to like expand my love for myself, like, and
Hmm.
expand my happiness. And like I was feeling so good. I was like, you know what, I have to share this with people. I have to show somebody this. Like, people need to be taking more of these baths, and I hadn't really thought about making it into a business yet. I was just like, I just want to tell people to do this. And my
Hmm.
friend was like, you should sell it. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah,
Hmm.
like, yeah, I want to share this with people. I want everybody to know like how good this feels when you don't, it's good to get in the bath. It's nice to soak in a bath and have, after you had a long day. But man, if you add
Hmm.
like just some scents, a little oil, little candlelight,
Hmm.
some music, and some flowers, like it really changes that experience like 100
Hmm.
times over,
Hmm.
And if you get in the bath, just light some sage, or, smudge the area and say, and just say, like, look, when I get in this bath, I am using this bath to help with my self love, or to give me more courage, or to help me with jumpstart, this in my business.
Hmm.
Like, if you are making moves like this, of course you have to take the action. But I don't know, for
Hmm.
some reason, it just kind of like helps the universe just push you in the direction that you
Mhm.
desire to go, because you went
Mhm.
all out and took all of these steps, to make sure that you were in, a life state willing to move forward and do all of these
And
things.
receive, like, you're setting your attention and you're open to it's almost like shavasana, right? Like, when you're laying in shavasana at the end of yoga, you're in a position where you're doing absolutely nothing, and you're letting go, and you're letting your body go, and you're setting your intention, and you're open to receiving whatever messages or gifts or whatever you're putting out there, right? I
Absolutely.
love this. So, is it like a here's how I envision it. Let me know if it's right. Like, you get this little package of bath salts, and then you have like maybe a journal in there where you can write down your intentions and blah 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 blah, and a candle and maybe a little sage stick and all the oils, and you have different kits for different intentions. There you go, girl. That's
Right.
that's your bath salt thing. Is that how it looks? That's how I think it looks.
Pretty much. Right now, I just have the one scent, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely working on some more. But yes, you get your salt, you put in the water. I like it messy. I just put the flowers and stuff directly into the water, but you can
Yeah.
strain it. You can strain it if you want, um,
Yeah.
and then I put the oils in there, and I light a candle. I put it in my rose quartz candle holder.
Yes. I have
I
one of those.
Right, it's so awesome.
I
I
know.
love
They're
them.
very pretty.
I put any crystals that I have, like
Mhm.
I'll put rose quartz or sometimes some green aventurine into the
Mhm.
water, some clear quartz. I'll either put it in the water, or sometimes I just like to surround the bathtub with it.
Oh, I
And
love it. It
I
sounds
just
so relaxing.
I just want to make myself feel like a fucking queen.
Mhm.
Is it all right to say?
Yeah. Yep, it's
Okay.
YouTube. You can say whatever you want.
I just want to feel like a queen. I want to feel like royalty. I want to feel like, you know,
Yeah.
relaxed and like I am the master of my own world, which we all
Mhm.
are. We all are. But sometimes we just don't realize that we have the ability to, create so
Mhm.
many things and so much like joy out of our own lives. We're always looking for it to come from somewhere else. But
Mhm.
when we're searching for it inside, we realize like we have this never ending, boundless joy, happiness, and love
Mhm.
to give, but we have to make sure that we nourish ourselves, that we're always filling our own cup and not just filling everybody else's cup. Because it could be exhausting, like
Mhm.
it's hard. It's hard when you're not thinking about everyone else, or I'm sorry, when you're not thinking about yourself because you're thinking about making sure everyone else is okay because it makes you
Mhm.
feel safe. It makes you feel good and comfortable that
Mhm.
everyone in your vicinity is doing all right, whether that be because you're a parent and that's your job, or because you're just this really good friend who wants to be there for all of your
Right,
friends.
right.
But no matter what, like you have to take the time, like I don't care if it seems impossible, then you need even more than anybody else to make sure that you take time out of your day to pour back into yourself, because I mean
Mhm.
this life, it ain't stopping for nobody, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
It's not, and if we want to be able to give more love, if we want to be more efficient at giving love and compassion to the people that we care about, then we need to be able to show that to ourselves and make it mandatory that like a meeting, like a business meeting where you about to sign $1 million, take an hour
Mhm.
out of your day, 2 hours, even if that's just once a week, you know if you have to start off with once a month or twice a month, like schedule it in, put it in your calendar, make it a
Mhm.
priority, so that we're not crazy, like we're not,
Yeah.
going
You have
crazy.
to fill yourself up. You gotta take care of yourself first so that you can be there for other people. And this is a theme with a lot of people that I've talked to on the show, is a lot of people have said the same thing. You have to make time for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You have to love yourself first, because you truly cannot. be there for other people and love them. I mean, you can love people, but it's just, you really need to nourish yourself, however that is. Find things that bring you joy, find things that you love to do, and make sure you're doing those things. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be, you know this way that one person said, or this way that another person said. It's got to be a way that it brings you joy. you know I
Absolutely.
love this idea of bath salts. How can people find you and find your bath salts?
So I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I recently started a TikTok.
Oh,
So my
cool.
TikTok and my Instagram is Shebeans, Shebeanz, and my Facebook is Sheena Shebeans G. And I don't know why Shebeans wasn't
Yeah.
available for
Right.
Facebook.
Right.
But and then on my Instagram, you can find a link to my other Instagram page, Lotus Drip. It's Lotus
Okay.
underscore drip. Or you can just go to lotusdrip.com, and that's straight to where the bath salts are. But
Okay,
I do
cool.
suggest you check out, my self love page, for
Yeah,
tips and
because there's
ideas, and
yeah. And you
I
can
was like,
see
that's
her
what it's
roller
there for.
skating, which is like your favorite pastime is roller skating.
Oh my gosh, yes. My sister got me into that, and I'm so thankful that she did, because sometimes it feels like a therapy session, like you feel
Hmm.
crazy. I won't say crazy, because I don't want to keep using that word so much, but you just feel like
Overwhelmed, maybe, like
overwhelmed.
just too much
Yes.
going on. Hmm.
And like skating is just such a release. Like it just, oh my gosh, like you're exercising, I'm rolling, I feel free. I got the wind blowing around my face and head and body. And, you know,
Yes.
if the sun is out, great. If it's nighttime, cool, like
Yeah.
I love skating so much. Like, and normally, like, I wouldn't even have done skating. Like before, I was just so caught up in like, oh, I gotta make money, I gotta make rent, I gotta pay these
Hmm.
bills, I gotta work.
Hmm.
Like, I can't. I would not even think about it. But now I'm just like, I
I
need to
have to make
skate.
time. This is what
you
you need to do
uh,
so that you can do all those other things, right? It's your
yes.
reset button. I
Yes,
love it.
because I will work myself into the ground.
Hmm.
And I was doing that all the time. I was just tired. Uh, my son would want me to play some video games with him. I was too tired. Anything, like I was just,
Hmm.
I didn't feel alive. So now I'm like,
Right.
okay, I feel alive.
You're ready to
And my
take on
life
the
is
world.
okay. Yes,
Mhm.
which I
I
need.
love it. We all need it. I'm going to put all her contact information in the description below. Sheena, thank you so much for being on here. You had so many good things to share. I think people are going to really enjoy this video. Thank you so much for being on here.
I want to thank you so much for having me. It was so fun, and
Yeah, super
I'm
fun.
super down to do anything like this again. Totally.
All right. We might have to do a follow up.
Okay.
And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on Gabbing with Gabby. Bye.